To our school's division superintendent, Madam Nene Rosal Merioles, CESO 5, to our assistant schools division superintendents, Mr. Fernando C. Macaraig and Mr. Joel E. Kaulboy, to the Chief of Curriculum Implementation Division, Madam Maria Dorothy L. Daniel, to the Chief of School Governance and Operations Division, Sir Mark Anthony H. Rupa, to our education program supervisors, public schools district supervisors, school heads, fellow teachers, ladies and friends, good morning and happy Teachers Month. Welcome to the first episode of our webinar on fostering self-care for teachers.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisigil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bugaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw na kailan pa may di magdidiling. Luma ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mag-aapi, ang namatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Ama naming sumasalangit, Panginoong maylalang sa langit at lupa, aming ipinagbubunyi ang iyong kadakilaan.
Kami ay nagpapasalamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo sa amin. Maraming salamat sa iyong walang humpay na pagmamahal.
Ikinalulugod namin ang iyong pag-akay sa amin bilang isang bansa sa krisis na aming nararanasan.
Kami ay lumalapit sa iyong kadakilaan. Itinataas namin sa iyong pangalan ang mga namumuno sa aming kagawaran.
Pagkaloob mo sa kanila ang katatagan para sa mga desisyong nakaatang sa kanilang mga balika. Gabayan mo ang kanilang mga hakbang sa pagsulong ng edukasyon sa bansa.
Hinihiling namin na iyong ipadama ang pagdamay, pagkalinga at proteksyon sa aming mga guro, mag-aaral at mga magulang anuman ang kanilang pinagdadaanan.
Patnubayan mo ang lahat ng mga guro sa pagpapatuloy ng kanilang paglilingkod sa bayan at bigyan ng proteksyon sa lahat ng panahon upang ang kanilang mga tungkulin ay magampanan.
Ipinagkakatiwala naming sa iyong mga kamay ang walang hanggang paggabay sa aming pagtahak tungo sa maliwanag na bukas.
Naniniwala kami na aming malalampasan ang lahat ng pagsubok sa pamamagitan ng iyong kapangyarihan. Ito ang aming samo at dalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus na iyong pinakamamahal na anak at aming tagapagligtas. Amen.
Tagapagkaloob ng lahat ng kaalaman at guro ng mga guro, bigyan po ninyo ng pagkalinga ang aming mga guro. Biyayaan nyo sila ng kahandaang linangin ang aming murang isipan at huwag magsawa kapag di makahabol ang turuan.
Pagpalain nawa ang kanilang mga pusong nagdiriwang sa tuwing kami nagwawagi at nag-aalo sa tuwing kami nadadaig. Pagkaluban ninyo sila ng mahinahong pagtsatsaga sapagkat ang landas ng kaalaman ay hindi madali.
Pagningasin ninyo sa kanila ang maapoy na diwang nagpapaliyab sa kagustuhan naming matuto. Tulungan ninyo silang makita ang galing sa bawat mag-aaral, wala sa marka ang halaga kundi sa pananalig nila.
Ikintal ninyo sa kanila ang walang pagkauhaw sa karunungan. Ang bagong kaalaman at karanasan ay di dapat katakutan.
Turuan po ninyo silang masiglang abutin ang alapaap
kasinsigla at kasintayog ng sarili naming pangarap.
Pagpalain po ninyo ang mga gurong nauna sa amin. Ang nagawa nila ay napapakinabangan pa rin.
Tanglawan po ng iyong mabuting halimbawa ang kaguruan upang makapagtayo sila sa pamamagitan ng kanilang pangungusap, upang makapagmahal sila sa pamamagitan ng kanilang isipan, upang makapagbahagi sila sa pamamagitan ng kanilang puso. Siya nawa.
In the midst of a changing world, they're standing tall, adept at dealing with whatever life affords. With the skills, the wit, and wisdom all aglow, they'll find their dreams wherever they behold. Guided by the Almighty, they dwell in harmony with their constant land and all its nature's grace. Hail to every must, but then you learn to stand. In power they will make our country stand. To make you feel there's so much fun and joy in learning. To keep them safe in every need and right protected. To nurture them and let their passions glow and burning. To light their path and lead them to a righteous life. This is the dream of the division of Masbate, a lifelong quality education for her children. Hand in hand with the leaders, teachers, and the whole community, every noble dream of Masbateños will come true. This is the dream of the division of Masbate, a lifelong quality education for her children. Hand in hand with the leaders, teachers, and the whole community, every noble dream of Masbateños will come true. Come true.
According to Tina H. Bugrin, advocate of educators and author of numerous books centered around areas of quality instruction, coaching, mentoring, and wellness, the average teacher makes 1,500 decisions every school day. In an average 6-hour day in front of students, teachers make more 4 decisions every minute. The COVID-19 pandemic has created additional challenges for educators and students. This crisis has put extra pressure on teachers to learn a new skill quickly and effectively. The challenges and stresses that educators face today are unprecedented. In line with the celebration of Teachers Month, our division will conduct activities to honor teachers and the role they play in guiding children, youth, and adult through lifelong learning process. We have posting of A Day in a Teacher's Life video, Gurong Mas Batibay Quiz B, Teachers Got Talent, Natatanging Pagkilala, Raffle Draw, and sessions on creative therapy techniques. Registration links for these activities can be found or are posted in the Facebook page of Brigada Eskwela DepEd Masbate. And so today, we will have our first episode on sessions on creative therapy techniques. We will have 2 topics for this episode, And we have also invited a registered psychologist. So if you have questions related to mental health, you can ask them later during our open forum. Indeed, in this time of pandemic, our mental health matters. So without further ado, let's have our discussion. The first topic will be about dealing with pandemic fatigue, taking care of your emotional well-being. Our first speaker is a registered psychometrician and the Youth Formation Program Coordinator of our division. Ladies and friends, let's welcome Madam Divine H. Cervantes.
Hello, good morning everyone. Am I audible po? Sir Alex? Okay, so okay po ba yung aking audio? Okay, so I'll try to share my screen. Okay. Ano ba? Mahinay. Hello, good morning. Good morning everyone. So give me 1 minute po to share my screen. Okay, so nakikita niyo po ba yung screen ko, Sir Alex?
Good morning po sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa atin ngayon. Let's give Ma'am Divine a minute or two to share her screen. So shout out muna tayo sa mga nanonood. Good morning everyone. Let's take a break from all the printing and the editing of your radio lessons. Let's take a break tayo sa discussion na ito. This is very important kasi ngayong pandemic, hindi lang importante yung physical well-being. Let's take activity will will give us or will our strength. Give a shout out to my coaches, Moravo National. Good morning. Sorry for the technical glitch, and now we're back and ready na po tayo sa ating first discussion about dealing with pandemic fatigue. Taking care of your emotional well-being, to be presented by Miss Divine H. Cervantes. So ayun na nga, we are also inviting you to register sa mga activities, program and activities for all the teachers ngayong Teachers Month. We have posting of a day in a teacher's life video. All you need to do is create a video or with pictures and videos of your daily routines, and then post it using your school's Facebook page. Every Wednesday of the week, you will post it. We also have the Gurong Mas Batibay Quiz B and the Teachers Got Talent. So yung may mga talent dyan, I know maraming teachers, mga mas batenyo teachers na mga talentado. It's your time to shine. It's your time para maipakita yung mga tinatago ninyong talento. And we also have Natatanging Pagkilala, search for most outstanding teachers here in our division. So if you meet the qualifications, don't be shy na na humingi ng application form from the office of the PSDS. We will also have a raffle draw, di ba? Yan yung paborito natin, yung mga pa-raffle. Yung mga hindi nanalo sa raffle last year, may chance tayo ngayong year. So, mag-register na. Ang links po ay makikita or matatagpuan sa Facebook page ng Brigada Eskwela DepEd Masbate. Good morning to all the teachers watching right now from their school and from their homes. We are very much delighted na kasama namin kayo ngayong araw para dito sa ating webinar. And yes nga po, na-mention ko kanina na we have invited a registered psychologist. So kung meron tayong mga tanong about mental health, about kung paano i-handle ang stress ngayong panahon ng pandemya, we can ask them later. Okay po? Dahil for sure, marami tayong mga questions about sa mga ganap-ganap sa ating paligid. Good morning po from Temistocles A. Merioles Senior Memorial High School, Armenia, Uson, Masbate. Good morning po. And also, shout out sa aming bagong Public Schools District Supervisor, Sir Greg Olivar ng Milagros East District. Good morning po. Good morning also and Happy Teachers Month sa mga teachers from Magsalangi Elementary School. Also from Cristeta Bagano Memorial High School. Good morning to all of you. Maraming salamat po at sa pag-watch ninyo sa ating webinar today. And this webinar po ay hindi lang first episode. We will have 3 episodes for sessions on creative therapy techniques. Today, September 17, on September 24, we will have the second episode. And on October 1st, we will have the third episode for this webinar. So if please allot time para mag-watch sa webinar po na ito. Those are watching from Esperanza District, good morning, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us today. Shout out also to the radio-based instruction radio teachers of our division. Thank you for watching. Hello po, Ma'am Virgilia Edem from Esperanza District. Good morning. Salamat po sa panonood. I'm sure na marami po tayong matututunan ngayong araw. I guess we are ready with our first speaker. Again, our first topic will be about dealing with pandemic fatigue, taking care of your emotional well-being, to be presented by Miss Divine H. Cervantes. Let's welcome her once again.
Okay, good morning everyone. Magandang buhay. Okay, so I'm really sorry. Magkakaroon lang ng technical glitch. I think it's very common nowadays, no? Dahil palagi tayo nasa online na and all that. So, good morning. Huwag tayong padala sa mga technical problems and glitches. Tuloy ang laban. Okay, so the topic, wait lang. Can you see my slides po? I'm really sorry kasi may notes ako after having a surgery, cesarean surgery. Nagkaroon ako ng problems with memorizing. So every time na I have to present, I have to really write down important points. Kaya ayan, we're working on that. Okay, so thank you so much, Ma'am Carla, pala for handling the inconvenience a while ago very well. So magandang buhay po sa lahat, magandang umaga. I know that everyone is excited for today's discussion. So can I see a heart reaction po sa mga tapos na mag-breakfast, sa may mga kasabay mag-breakfast, at sa mga masasarap ang ulam kaninang breakfast? Pwede ba ako makakita ng mga heart reactions from you? And for those na nagkakape as of the moment at mag-isa mag-breakfast, pwede bang pa-like reaction? Ayan, ang daming heart reaction. Buti pa sila, di ba? Nakapag-breakfast ng masarap. So, I hope that we always enjoy our every meal and every sip of our coffee, because if there is something that we learn during this pandemic, no, this is to cherish every moment of our lives. This morning, we will understand pandemic fatigue and how we can better take care of our emotions. As mentioned by Ma'am Carla, in celebration with Teachers Month, we will be sharing ways on how we can better take care of ourselves. Okay. So last March 2020 po, no, we bid goodbye to the old normal. It was actually the time when the province of Masbate was placed under lockdown. Personally, I thought it would only take weeks. And I think most of you think that way as well. But surprise of all surprises, 1 year and 6 months, we are still fighting this invisible war named COVID-19. And every one of us feared for our loved ones, especially sa mga parents who were scared sa safety ng ating mga kids. We're all scared of the unknown. But thanks to our healthcare workers, our frontliners, our doctors, scientists, may vaccine na tayo against COVID-19. And of course, the knowledge that we have regarding this virus is mas lumawak. Nakikita niyo po ba yung screen ko? Okay. I'm pretty sure that some of the fears, the anxieties that we have, medyo humupa na. And we thought we're almost there. We thought malapit na mag-end itong pandemic na to. But hindi natin inaakala na magkakaroon ng mga variants, napakaraming variants. So we have this question in mind. Is there a possibility of going back to a normal, mask-free life? And at some point, we tend to feel emotionally exhausted, tired, irritable, and annoyed. Kasi parang there's this lingering question, when is this going to end? Looking back, the first few weeks of lockdown po was filled with overwhelming fear, overwhelming anxiety, and uncertainty. The journey was not easy for most of us. And for some, it is more manageable. But for others, medyo nahihirapan tayo. Right now, medyo na-handle natin ng mas maganda because of the information, wide information regarding COVID-19. And nagkaroon tayo ng overhaul, nagkaroon tayo ng pagbabago, strategic, systematic na activities to adapt to our new normal and to survive. This is because, one, we need to survive this pandemic. But despite the sobrang 1 year na natin ginagawa yung mga safety precautions, we know the consequences of following it. Every day still is a challenge. Mahihirapan pa rin tayo. Minsan nga nakakalimutan pa natin mag-mask. Yung iba nga 1 year and 6 months na, pero yung mask nila nasa ilalim pa rin ng nose nila. So, it's still a challenge for some, but for others, naka-adapt agad sila easily. Now, trying to adhere to anything extra is always a challenge. Siglit lang po ha. I'll just stop sharing kasi I think hindi nakikita pa sa screen yung slides. Sayang naman, at least you can screenshot some important points for you to remember along the way. Okay, good morning everyone. Ayan, wag tayong tuloy ang laban.
Diin ka makita sa imo notes.
Dito. I'm sorry, naka-mute. Okay. Wala man. Hindi na naman nagka-problema naman. Okay na po. Medyo nag-lag siya. Ano. Okay, so we apologize sincerely for the technical glitch. I think hindi talaga tayo iiwasan from time to time, no? Nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng problems with Wi-Fi, with social media platform and the webinar platform that we're using. So, ayun nga, we will be discussing today, this morning, pandemic fatigue and how to take care of our emotional well-being. A while ago, I mentioned that it was during March 2020 when we bid goodbye to the old normal. It was this time when province of Masbate was placed under lockdown. Every one of us thought na magiging weeks lang to, but then we are all surprised that after 1 year and 6 months, we are still fighting this invisible war named COVID-19. So looking back, the first few weeks of lockdown was filled with overwhelming fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. The journey was not easy, but now it is more manageable because we have more information regarding COVID-19. And of course, nagkaroon din ng overhaul sa ating day-to-day activities. The way we do leisure to education has changed, and this is because we have to adapt to the new normal. This is because we have to survive this pandemic. But despite na sobrang 1 year na natin ginagawa yung mga safety precaution, we are still having problems and difficulties. Talagang tutad na sinusunod yung mga precautions. Although we all know the consequences of following it, it's still a challenge for everyone. As one of the article I've read, he emphasized that trying now to adhere anything extra is always a challenge. You can add extra steps to your routine for a few days. You can add extra activities for a few days. But the sustained behavior change is hard. Even in other activities, even in diet, in moving on, in pursuing our goals. We sometimes fall, we sometimes cheat our ways for days, but sustained behavior change, although it's hard, although napakahirap magbago ng isang behavior, lalo na kung since bata, ginagawa na talaga natin, but still, behavior change is possible. We human beings are adaptable to change. We are Filipinos, after all. We are known to be resilient. We live in a calamity-prone country. Thus, I'd like to think na nasa genes na natin yung DNA of resiliency. We struggle to fight our way to survive. We may have difficulty dealing with change, but it is good to note that small steps lead to bigger steps. Deciding at the moment what is important can make a big difference in our lives. However, the question is what happens if we are under prolonged stress, just like what is happening to us right now? Terms like pandemic fatigue, compassion fatigue, quotient fatigue were raised by WHO. So the question is, are you feeling emotionally exhausted or bored as of the moment? Is there a struggle to remain motivated to maintain the COVID-19 precautions? Is there a feeling of weary or drained? Yung pagod na pagod ka? Have you been feeling that lately? Are you wrestling with emotions of boredom, sadness, worry, fear, anger, irritability, or frustration? Are you experiencing brain fog or difficulty concentrating? Brain fog is characterized by confusion, forgetfulness, and lack of focus and mental clarity. Or siguro we are sometimes withdrawing from others. Now, social withdrawal is avoiding people. It's not just avoiding people, but avoiding activities that we seemed to enjoy before. For some people, this can be a progress point to social isolation. And also, are we sometimes sleep more than or less than the usual? Now, these mentioned symptoms are actually what we call pandemic fatigue. It is important to know po that there is a fine line between these symptoms and those mental health disorders, for example, like depression. There is just a thin line that separates them. The symptoms of pandemic fatigue may not make up to any clinical diagnosis, but still it has a way of making our day-to-day functioning hard. Kaya nga po, we have to remind ourselves, just like physical symptoms, ubo, sipon, may trakaso, if these psychological symptoms persist, if these mentioned symptoms persist, please do not hesitate to consult your doctor or to consult a psychologist or a guidance counselor. Now, according to WHO, pandemic fatigue is a natural and expected reaction to sustained and unresolved adversity in people's lives. We have been experiencing prolonged stress, and the strain of daily precautions, putting masks, social distancing, are getting into us. Also, WHO or World Health Organization said that pandemic fatigue expresses itself as emerging demotivation. It has difficulty engaging in that protective behavior that we have before. And of course, this pandemic fatigue evolves gradually on time, and it manifests in a number of ways, a number of emotions, and the perceptions. Thus, the result is there's wrestling or clashing of emotions that we cannot pinpoint. Ano ba talaga yung nararamdaman mo? It's just that you are fatigued. And when we say fatigue, this is actually tiredness. You know? In crisis kasi, as human beings, we're able to tap into our reserves to adapt to stressful situations. However, if this extremely difficult times persist, we start to cope with it. And World Health Organization believes that fatigue and demotivation are symptoms of pandemic fatigue. So the symptoms I mentioned a while ago are signs that we may be experiencing pandemic fatigue. And so, what can teachers do to prevent pandemic fatigue? So to put it in a context, for teachers to be effective in their professional and personal lives, we need to practice what we call active self-care. Now, active self-care involves making a plan that incorporates the 8 dimensions of wellness and sticking to it. So we need to develop good boundaries between work and home. Now, how we do that? Now, these 8 dimensions of wellness are what we call emotional, mental, environmental, financial, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual. It's not just po na dapat, we are taking care of our mental health, not just like that, or we are just taking care of our spiritual health. Kailangan may balance po among those 8 dimensions of wellness. So for the plan to be successful, for our active self-care to be successful, it doesn't have to be elaborate or require extensive time. It could be as simple as taking a 5-minute walk, grabbing a healthy snack, or talking to a friend for a few minutes. Engaging in more of these activities with more time commitment can be helpful. Remember po, it takes practice for this coping mechanism para ma-internalize natin and maging part siya ng ating behavior. Other tips that I'd like to share to you is in working through this pandemic or coping with the pandemic fatigue is through connecting with our loved ones. Although doing this does not give the same result as the face-to-face interaction, research has said that it cannot replace the warmth, the 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 feeling of being loved, but the mere kamustahan and having the conversation with someone dear to you can have a positive effect sa ating well-being. Maliban sa nakakatulong ito maibsan ang kalungkutan dala ng social distancing, connecting with them even through technology can ease the tension. And of course, practice gratitude. Being grateful can have endless benefits, and research has proven that for so many years. Gratitude is the quality of being thankful, a social emotion that signals our recognition of the things others have done for us. It is actually the appreciation of looking for value and meaningful to ourselves. Now, the benefit of practicing gratitude is endless, and people who regularly practice being thankful or being grateful by taking time to notice things, reflecting upon things, they are they are um they are actually more alive. They sleep better. They feel more alive. They sleep better, and express more compassion and kindness, and even have stronger immune systems. That's why po it's very helpful po na we'll see the positive or the good things in kahit na medyo hindi maganda yung nangyari sa atin or may mga na-experience tayong hindi maganda. At the end of the day, we have to be grateful and look for something that you are thankful for. And of course, get some movement. It can be a simple 5-minute walk or a kulitan with your chikitings. We need to move those muscles. The movement alone can help in the regulation of our oxygen sa ating katawan. We are lucky here in Masbate po na we still have the freedom to walk in the park. Although may limitations, but let us take advantage of that. Remember, exercise release happy hormones besides getting fit. And of course, limit upsetting news and media. We have to filter po, what we read, what we see. And of course, very important, mag-fact check tayo. If the resources of the news are valid and reliable. Now, if you look at the web, if you look at the Google, try to look po for a very recent data, very recent article. Kasi the articles that was published last year may not be reliable, may not be valid na, and may not be true as of the moment. Let's not just read the headlines. Isa din po yun. Kasi it's always misleading, clickbait. Gusto lang makakuha ng maraming clicks, so they make the headlines more interesting. Let's make sure that we read the whole article before we react. Sometimes it can also affect our mood. So, and of course, this is very important. You don't need, I want to say this to you, and let me say this to you directly. You don't need to know everything that is happening. Please limit your news intake to 5 minutes and filter lang the kind of news that you want to intake or you want to know. So siguro in a day, you can take like 10 minutes break and you read kung ano lang yung gusto mong malaman. Because, knowing everything can actually result to information overload and sometimes hindi din maganda sa ating mental health. Madami tayong naiisip. Let's lessen the toxicity. And lastly, embrace your emotions. Feel your emotions. One of the most effective ways to track your emotions is through journaling. I understand po, it sounds simple, it sounds common, writing your own emotions at the end of the day, taking 5 to 10 minutes break, tapos i-write mo lang. But research and even therapy would always recommend journaling. It helps us assess, evaluate what we feel during the day. It also helps us become aware of ourselves, thus helping us be more in control of ourselves. Remember po, as humans, we are gifted with emotions. Therefore, wag po natin i-separate ang ating emosyon sa ating sarili. Instead of ignoring, neglecting, parang, hayaan na natin, huwag na tayong magalit, ganyan. Our emotions, bring it to the surface and analyze what made you feel that way. By bringing our emotions to awareness, we are actually taking one step of controlling and managing. Thus, it is crucial po to be aware of what you control and what you cannot, and focus your energy on those things you can change. Feeling effective and useful can be a potent counter to trauma and stress, as well as pandemic fatigue. Second, it is helpful po to look to the future. Let us be excited of what future will give us by being present in the here and now. Let us enjoy the here and now so that we can be excited of what tomorrow may bring. Let us be grateful even to the small blessings, and let us always choose kindness. And lastly, of course, seek God's wisdom. Let us hold onto his anchor, stronger than us, and he will carry us through. So I hope that this short discussion regarding pandemic fatigue can help us in managing our emotions. So thank you. Let us stay safe and happy Teachers Month, everyone.
Thank you so much, Miss Divine, for that presentation. Totoo nga na when you are grateful, maganda rin yung nare-reflect mo na gawain mo. And siguro to be grateful, I have journal, and then I write the things that I'm grateful for. So every night, nakakabawas din siya talaga ng stress. When we recognize those things na masasabi natin, I'm thankful, kahit small thing lang siya, may impact siya sa ating everyday lives. So thank you so much once again, Miss Divine H. Cervantes. Later on po, we will have an open forum. So if you have questions regarding our topic for today, you can ask them later on. There is a quote that says, laughter is the best medicine. They say that it draws people together in ways that trigger healthy physical and emotional changes in the body. Our next topic will focus on humor therapy. Our speaker for this one is a registered guidance counselor. He is currently taking Doctor of Psychology at the Adventist University of the Philippines, and he is also teaching at Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies. Born Ethiopian, Filipino by heart. Ladies and friends, let's welcome Mr. Legacy S. Dana. Good morning, sir. Be about humor therapy. Mukhang walang audio si Sir Legacy, and hintayin lang natin maya-maya. I'm sure na magbabalik siya. Humor therapy, kung nai-stress tayo, yung iba sa atin nanonood ng mga movies, yung mga feel-good movies, K-drama, di ba? Nanonood tayo ng mga ganyan para makalimutan natin yung mga mabibigat na suliranin ng ating buhay-buhay. So, in this discussion, we will find out ano yung mga kailangang gawin natin, or yung mga tips and techniques para paano gamitin yung humor para mapagaan yung pakiramdam natin. Habang wala pa si Sir, let's give a shout out. Shout out po tayo kay Sir Jonathan Murano po. Happy Teachers Month from Tabang Kariton. Thank you, sir, for watching. And to those who are watching from their schools and from their homes, thank you po for watching again, and happy Teachers Month po. Don't forget to register sa mga links for the activities that we have prepared for all the teachers this month. Meron po tayong raffle draw, meron din tayong Gurong Mas Batibay Quiz B, and then natatanging pagkilala, search for outstanding teachers, and we also have Teachers Got Talent. So if you have talent, it is your time to shine, na ipakita sa lahat kung ano yung tinatago mo. Wag na nating itago, ipakita na natin yan, baka ma-discover pa tayo, di ba? So you are all welcome to register sa link natin na Brigada DepEd Masbate. Kapit lang po tayo dahil our speaker talaga will talk about humor therapy, and he's currently taking Doctor of Psychology at the Adventist University of the Philippines. So I'm sure he has a lot to say to us today. Good morning once again from Uson North District, from Uson South District, morning. Happy na lumalaban year 2 ng ating pandemya, di ba? Hindi natin akala, dati yung nag-start ang pandemya, hindi natin lubos akalain na magagawa natin yung mga ginagawa natin ngayon. Maraming challenges tayong kinakaharap, from printing of the modules, distribution, mga virtual activities natin. Napakaraming challenges ang ating pinagdaanan. And napagtagumpayan natin lahat ng yon because we have each other and because we help each other. And kaya talagang napakalaki ng role ng mga teachers ngayong time of pandemic sa kanilang sakripisyong ibinibigay para lang maipagpatuloy ang dekalidad na edukasyon sa bawat mag-aaral. So thank you so much sa lahat ng sacrifices ninyo. I'm sure na darating ang araw, maa-appreciate lahat ng effort na ibinibigay natin para sa kabataan, para sa bata, para sa at para sa bayan. Happy Teacher Month once again po. Ladies and friends, let's welcome once again our second speaker today's episode, Mr.
Good morning to everyone. Maraming salamat po sa introduction at sa panahon na nagbibigay niyo sa akin at sa introduction.
Sir,
can you hear me? Marinig niyo ba ako? Audible? Can you hear me? Huwag natin mawalaan yung pinakamasayang part ko eh. Humor to eh. Wala pang feedback dito. Thank you sa confirmation. Okay, na yata. Okay, thank you, sir, ma'am, sa confirmation. Ito na. We're ready to go. Am I using my slide from this side? That is. Okay. The topic under discussion: humor therapy. Yes. What comes to your mind when you hear the word humor? Of course, some humor. It is interchangeably used with laughter therapy as well. Now, I'm taking up my doctorate in psychology. I'm taking doctor of psychology sa Adventist University of the Philippines sa Cavite. I finished up my guidance and counseling under Adventist University of the Philippines. So, in the meantime, DC lang muna. Wala pa ng R. Wala pang R. In the process itong R. So, in the meantime, guidance counselor lang ako. Hindi pa po ako registered guidance counselor. So, thank you sa correction na so I just made the transaction.
Kung gamitin itong headset. Ganito, okay na ganito? Walang headset? Maririnig nyo ba ako? Walang headset? Ganito lang? Okay na po? O, parang mas okay. O, sige po. Huwag natin yung headset para masaya. Okay din yung sige, thank you po. Ulitin ko yung introduction kasi mahina yung audio ko kanina eh. Maraming salamat po sa introduction. Tama po yung sinabi si ma'am. I'm taking up my Doctor of Psychology sa Adventist University of the Philippines sa Puting Kahoy, Cavite. I'm also a graduate of Adventist University of the Philippines. I finished my guidance and counseling also under AUP. God willing, I'm aspiring to graduate next year. I'm very pleased and delighted in the privilege that is given to me to share about humor therapy with you. Itong humor therapy is interchangeably used also with laughter therapy. And it's something that is important lalo na sa itong panahon ng pandemya. Since the introduction of the lockdown, Ma'am Divine has very well explained the psychological, sociological, and also spiritual and social aspect of what it means to us every day. And so, hindi tayo na mawawalan yung the importance and the significance of staying healthy. And talking about healthy, we cannot forget this part of our well-being, physiological, psychological, and emotional. And bakit ang mga Pinoy hindi tama kung sumagot? Kahit maayos naman ang tanong. Kumain ka na? Busog pa ako. Nandyan ba ang nanay mo? Bakit po? Anong oras na? Maaga pa. Paano mo ginagawa yan? Madali lang. Bakit wala kang kahapon? Absent ako eh. At all-time favorite ko. Saan ka na? Malapit na ako, wait lang. Talaga ibang klase mga Pinoy. Talaga. We need humor in our life. At talaga, huwag tayong mawawalan yung humor or laughter sa buhay natin. Today in my presentation, I will be saying introduction, the origin and theory of laughter therapy, yung benefits at saka techniques. Isa pa, sa English class, teacher, in my class, I don't want to hear speaking Tagalog. Is that clear? Sumagot ang estudyante. Yes, ma'am. Teacher, okay, let me know your name first. What's your name? Student, my name is Early Seven Strikeland Never Broke. Teacher, wow, are you Philam? Student, no, ma'am, it's the English term for my real name, Agapito Hampaslupa Di Magiba. So, the student had no options but to translate his name. Exciting. Humor is an important part of us. Humor as a prescription for wellness. Imagine, sa isang medical prescription nakalagay ito, take 2 doses of Andrew E., half a dose of Pekwang, Archie Almania, and Arnel Ignacio. Rinse with Vice Ganda, Benji Paras, Vic Soto, and Joey. Check your regularly with Drs. Dolphy, Jose Manalo, Michael V, and Yoyo Villamay. Join the Laughter Club. Schedule a 5-minute-hour coffee break every afternoon. Add a heap of gratitude of what is good about life. Forgive one person every day. Throw away everything doesn't help you to wellness. Wow, if this was our prescription given from a doctor, we would know how that will translate to our normal, healthy, psychological, physiological outcome. And so we need that. But what is laughter? Isang psychologist by the name William James said, we don't laugh because we are happy, kundi we are happy because we laugh. Ibig sabihin, we are really happy because of laughter. So laughter is the ingredient for us to enjoy that happiness. It creates happiness. So what's humor therapy? Now, humor therapy is the art of using humor and laughter to help heal people with physical and mental condition. It's not only physical, but it's mental conditions. And so gerontology discusses this. It's the science of laughter, the stimulus from humor with emotional, biological, and behavioral responses. In 1975, the Workshop Library on World Humor was started in Washington, D.C. Now, numerous studies have reported positive outcomes from medical, immunology, nursing, social, behavioral journals, have found at the study of their long research that it makes significant impact in our well-being. And so modern usage of this word, according to Webster's New World College Dictionary, is humor is the quality that makes something seem funny, quality, and amusing, ludicrous, or absurd. So it can be generated sometimes with something humorous or funny or absurd. We say, oh, that's strange, that's absurd. So it can be generated from different contexts. Now, derived from the Latin medical term referencing to a body fluid's biological temperament or disposition, a person was in either in a good humor or a bad humor. So these are very important indications that could take place every time humor is translated into our bodily responses. So psychologically in our brain, there are many chemicals that are released towards making our physiological and psychological well-being balanced. Lalo na sa mga teachers, we have many hours of preparing for a class. I'm a teacher myself. Nagtuturo din ko sa AYAS, isang Adventist University din sa Silang. At dealing with a student, of course, you have to make your time, appropriate time for different activities, and then your actual teaching with the students, and then dealing with school-related issues. So it piles up. And so we need to look at how we can keep our sanity, how we can stay healthy for ourselves primarily, and also for the people we live with and our work colleagues. Now, humor is an emotional response. It's a mirth in a social context, enables a person to experience joy even faced with adversity. Mama Divine was right when she mentioned that for any Filipino who has lived in the Philippines, you have gone through a lot of adversity, from typhoon, flood, earthquake, and now going through the pandemic. This is globally. However, so growing up with different calamities makes you adversity proof. And so most Filipinos come out being resilient in their output in life. And that is because of the experiences they have gone through. And so it reveals our strength going forward. And so I would believe most of us have seen at least, or if not heard, Winnie the Pooh, a very loved Disney animation where Winnie is always bringing some humor into the conversation he has. Piglet has all kind of problems he will share with Winnie the Pooh, and Winnie will always go into his medicine cabinet, and his favorite is the pot of honey, as if the honey will dissolve and melt all the issues concerned that Piglet is with. And so this character has brought a significance how we really need laughter in life. How would we act if there is no laughter, kung wala tayong na laughter or humor in life? It's really important. And so for every issues in life, looks like Winnie the Pooh has the answer in that pot of honey. The honey seems to be the problem solver. Interesting. Historically, we know that humor and laughter is mentioned in the Bible. Now, we go to Proverbs in the Old Testament, which contains verses. Now, Proverbs 17, verses 22, talks being cheerful keeps you healthy. It is slow death to be gloomy all the time. It's true. Being cheerful keeps us healthy, because those radicals that are working against our body cannot thrive when those healthy hormones, endorphins, are produced in our body in abundance, which are very important for our normalcy. Those radicals that work against our healthful body regulations will not thrive. And another verse in Job 8:21, he will again fill your mouth with laughter and your lips will joyful shout. So humor, laughter, joy is mentioned in the older literature in the Bible. And in the 14th century, most of the Roman amphitheaters their gathering places have medical facilities built next to them. And the understanding is people who are mentally or psychologically or physically sick can enjoy the entertainment that is at hand. And by enjoying that, they soon realize the well being of their sickness. So let the surgeon take care to regulate the whole regimen of the patient's life for joy and happiness, allowing his relatives and special friends to cheer him, and by having someone tell him jokes. This is a school in Henri de Montverde. It's a famous school where they had programs to make people cheerful and happy. And talking about being cheerful and telling somebody jokes, noon pa ako, maliit pa ako, I was only grade 5 student. I remember I was sick, severely sick. Siyempre sa Africa, one of the highest death-causing medical condition was malaria. Malaria was rampant. Napakarami na mamamatay sa Africa. And so in Ethiopia, malaria is always one of the high death-causing medical conditions. So I had a malaria. I was very sick. I was admitted in the hospital, and I'm already nakalampas ng 3 buwan sa hospital, admitted. Can you just imagine? I was in the hospital for 3 months. I was only grade 5. I was so sick. Parang ang buhay ko between life and death. I could die in a minute. I know, I can see from my parents who were so worried about me that they're saying they don't want to tell me, they don't want to give up on me. I can see them that they're worried and concerned. And every morning when doctors make their rounds, I remember was this Italian doctor who doesn't even speak Ethiopian language, who doesn't speak very well English, comes checking on all the patients. Talagang masayang-masaya ako pag dumating niya sa kwarto ko. She will say in Italian, "Oh, ¿cómo está, señor?" Tapos meron siya magsasalita ng Italiano, hindi ko maintindihan. But masayahin itong nurse. She will talk to me. She says to me like, "Bukas ha, prepare mo ha, mag-walking tayo ha, bukas ha." She will tell me things that I'm not able to do at that point, but her energy, enthusiasm, her laughter, and her conversation with me is what kept me alive. Because the next day, I can't wait until the next day. Iniisip ko siya, what? Tomorrow she will come again. I'm always excited thinking about her. Sa lahat ng nangyari, I'm only excited about seeing her in the morning, coming to me and talking to me. Kaya pala, it's very important even in the medical facility na isang pasyente, if there is a nurse that is masayahin and knows how to take care of that patient begins some life of recovery. They recover and they come fast. This is medically proven. In the 16th century, Martin Luther said, he advised them not to isolate themselves, but to surround themselves with friends who could joke and make them laugh. Laughter and joke and humor is part of us. We are made with that faculty. Kailangan talaga tayo. In the 1930s, treating his ankylosing condition of the spondylitis. This is a condition where your back is inflamed and you have a severe pain because of that. And so Norman Cousins made a study and brought the subject of humor therapy to the attention of medical community, because in a short time, he could see the healing output of laughter for patients who had this back pain. Another study, this was in 1979 in his book Anatomy of an Illness. He described his potentially fatal disease in 1964 and his discovery of the benefits of humor. 10 minutes of mirthful laughter was able to ease 2 hours of pain-free sleep. So yung mga pasyente na they had 10 minutes mirthful laughter, tawan-tawa sila ng 10 minutes, then for 2 hours they have a nice sleep. They don't have any more pain. And this is found in research. And another researcher, Dr. William Fry, he's psychiatrist from Stanford University, California, considered the fat hair of gerontology. So he studied the science of laughter. He examined psychological effects of laughter in the late 1960s. So mirthful laughter provides good physical exercise and decreases respiratory infections. Another study, Dr. Ray Burke. Now, this is from Loma Linda University of Medical Center that is based in the US. He's an Adventist doctor. So he studied 2 groups. One placed under medical care, other group watched humorous videos for 30 minutes. 1 year humor, few physical manifestations, while non-humor group had more recurrent attacks just from watching 30 minutes video on laughter. Not any video. Tandaan nyo, not any video, but videos that generate and elicit laughter. I don't know if you can hear the audio and the sound of this video. I have a video. Please, if you cannot see it, let me know so I can make necessary adjustment.
The claim backed up by Lee Burke at Loma Linda University. Burke has spent more than 30 years studying how laughter affects what's going on in our bodies. Burke has found laughter decreases stress hormones, improves our immune system, and boosts endorphins. Those are the brain chemicals associated with the runner's high.
Exercise and its good effects on health have become widely known. I mean, I think no one would disagree with that now. Is that where we're going to get with laughter?
I'm thinking we may get there with the same sort of prescription for laughter of maybe 30 minutes a day, 3 or 4 times a week, if not more.
That sounds like a pretty good prescription.
It's enjoyable.
In a year-long study of heart patients, Burke asked one group to choose half an hour of comedy daily. Some chose the sitcom Friends.
Given my lifelong search for irony, you can imagine how happy I am.
Others received the same medical care without the comedy. The group that laughed required fewer medications such as beta blockers and nitroglycerin. Most striking, over the 12 months of the experiment, only 8% of the group that laughed suffered a second heart attack, compared with 42% of the control group.
Now, if you or I had discovered the medication that did that, we'd be on our way probably to stopping.
You'd be getting the Nobel Prize.
Yeah. Even the anticipation of laughter produces some of the same beneficial results, offering evidence of what Burke calls the biology of hope.
Finally, from us this evening.
Okay, so we feel and have stress, and what does that mean in the context of laughter and humor? Now, the meaning an individual places on a situation is how a person feels about a situation, or self or person, short or long term. So stress itself physically, psychologically, socially, and spiritually can affect based on the meaning we place. Now, for some people, this pandemic lockdown is not a stressful situation because they have made ways to deal with it. But for some, it may be very stressful. So with any event, how we relate and the meaning we give to that gives the context to what we call a stress. And so we go to theories of humor. Actually, there are many theories I consider to to share two with you. The first one is a psychological theory. This considers humor to be very healthy behavior. And spiritual theories consider humor to be an explicable mystery, much like with religious experience. It's more like it should be felt, it should be experienced through your living. And so, here are some facts from research. Now, endorphins are vital because they normalize the functioning of the body. So, UCLA found that watching funny shows increased children's tolerance for pain. And University of Maryland found that groups who watch humorous films experience an increase in blood flow. Now, the act of laughing stimulates hormones called catecholamines, or that they help release endorphins. So they are very significant in our breathing, the function of the heart, the liver, and the blood pressures. All these function well when we have enough endorphins. And you know that our body produces that when we give it enough time of laughter and humor. And so laughing to get happy humor is highly subjective. Even a fake laughter can be just as effective as real laughter. Our brain doesn't know the difference between a real laughter and just a laughter. So that is why every time we laugh with these areas that are highlighted, the MRI video shows that these are active. And these are the areas where our body produces endorphins. So the more we laugh, the more areas here are highlighted, and the more those chemicals are released. And that's good towards our health. Here's a good video to make us laugh. And so laughter is very, very important for our healthy functioning. So we need laughter regularly, every day. And we need to consciously make time for it, lalo na sa mga teachers. Because our stressors have now, with the new pandemic, has made things more challenging. And so, as teachers or workers, wherein our average stressors have increased, we need to consciously gawin natin ng oras, bigyan natin ng oras para we take time for self-care. Laughter is part of self-care. So, ngayon, what are the benefits of humor or laughter? Now, biological benefits are there. Biochemical response activates the brain's limbic system, that is the emotional area. Biochemical response similar to pleasurable states, eating, enjoying music, mood, altering drugs. So it does have the same effect as when you enjoy your dining, when you enjoy your music, when you take some important medications and your body responds. It has the same effect. It can also combat anxiety and fear from a known thing. Fear of anxiety. What else? Humor helps to communicate feelings, thoughts, too, and belief in a way that might be difficult to convey to others. Sometimes some communicate through humor, and it improves cognitive flexibility and creativity. It does, because after you have a good laugh, there is more oxygen in your brain, and your thinking clears up. It helps you to give one courage and strength to find new sources of hope. Humor has a spiritual component to forgive oneself and others. That's why if you can forgive a person a day, that adds up to your healthy life of producing endorphin. Endorphins are those good hormones that fight against radicals. And so cardiovascular system is effective. Laughter is like jogging physically or rowing a boat for 3 minutes. Wow. So like 3 minutes, you're on a boat. Nakakaano na sa bangka, isang maliit na bangka, or jogging physically. So it's likened kasi it has the same effect. So it affects our respiratory system. Body is more oxygenated. There's more oxygen in the body. It reduces cardiovascular diseases like presented in the research there within control group and the group where those who had the laughter 30 minutes a day significantly lower their intake of medications. What else? Our frontal lobe, or left and right side of the brain, are used in humor and laughter. When we laugh, 3 sides of our brain are used. And it also rebalances the chemical for our body. With stress, grief is present. Okay? So it levels also our cortisol in the blood, decreases. Cortisol is not the good chemical in our body. It reduces that in our blood. And so here is one more. Now, you realize that laughter is contagious, di ba? If we have people who are laughing around us, we cannot help it but join. Mahirap na hindi nang magtatawa ng isang kasama nyo. If somebody is with you and he's laughing and smiling, it's difficult not for it to be contagious. We also laugh. So here are the 3 techniques, laughter therapy techniques. One is simulated laughter. The second one is genuine or spontaneous. This naturally happens. The third one is stimulated laughter. Now, how can humor be an effective therapy for us? Now, humor can help us individually to acquire healthier behavior. It also gives the individual sets of emotional skills and self-improvement. You know, Mr. Bean, I'm sure you have had the experience of enjoying his show. Now, humor can naturalize the grief, anger, and trauma of a person, the past or the present. It gives also us a sense of control in our life events.
Well, what's happening? Boys and girls, what seems to be the problem? So, now, I need you to turn on your back now, okay? The baby's heart rate is slowing, okay? It's fine. It's gonna be fine. Okay? Just a little bit of a push. Just a little bit of. What are you doing? I'm turning the baby so I can take the pressure off the cord. Okay?
Oh my God.
Okay, we're good. Heartbeat stronger, but we're not out of the woods. We need to get things going now. The cord is wrapped around the neck. So I'm gonna give you some medicine, pop the bag, and get things going. Okay? I don't want to leave the baby in there for long, and we can give you some medicine for the pain.
No. I don't want the baby to be born all drugged out. It's not my first plan.
Things change. We don't have time to debate this.
What? No. The No, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not.
Fine. Do we want to? Whoa, 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 what? Should I leave? You want to be the doctor? Because I really don't need to be here.
No, what we want is to take a second to talk about our options. Okay?
No, you want to take a second to tell me how to do my job. My job is to get that baby out safely. Or I can go home. Just let me know. You be the doctor.
Can we talk outside of the home first?
That woman is a control freak. She needs to let go and let me do my job.
She's just having a hard time because her and our doctor had a very specific birth plan, and they wanted it to be a very special experience.
You want a special experience? Go to a Jimmy Buffett concert. We have a new birth plan. Get the baby out safely.
Look, Ben, you can help us out. I have no idea what I'm doing. You can be as big a dick to me as you want. Just be nice to her, man. That's all I ask. Just please be nice to her.
Are you okay? Sorry. Let's start fresh.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
This is helping. This is good. I think we're bonding. Alice, I apologize for being a little brash, but rather what you break the bag, some medicine to speed things up, because once the bag is broken, I don't want there to be an infection.
Whatever do we have to do?
Hi, I'm Coach Marcus. Welcome to Brain Power, and
I invite you to join this laughter exercise. So sit up straight so you can join the laughter 1 minute. No, it's not 1 minute, 30 seconds. Yes. So get ready, everyone. Let's join this laughter exercise, 30 seconds.
It's okay if it feels a little fake at first. Your brain doesn't know the difference. So Jamie and I are going to laugh for the next 30 seconds. We'll set a timer and even challenge yourself. You can go for a minute if you want to. With your family. All right, and let's go.
Everybody join. How do you feel? Did you feel some change? Yes, there was some change. That's it. It really helped us to see those bodily changes. The oxygen level went up and there's a more blood circulation. You can see my teary-eyed and I can feel my face also sweating. So these are all the benefits of laughter. And I hope and pray as teachers and workers, when you're challenged, take some minute of 30 seconds and enjoy your laughter, and you will discover right after that psychological, physiological, and emotional change in the way you feel. Your stress level will drop. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for following me along. Ma'am Divine? Anong sunod? May open forum pa tayo?
Let's give him a virtual time for being with us in this episode today. Thank you so much once again po, Mr. Legacy S. Dana. Last to this of taking care of our mental and well. At this juncture, we will have, I'm sure that you have gained a lot of insight from the discussions we have for this episode. So we will have an open forum later on with our invited guests. Nanood kanina pinakita ni Sir kanina na mga videos, tawang-tawa din ako dito, na nakakahawa yung tawa. So, when you're around people na mahilig mag-joke, be thankful kasi nakakatulong sila sa ating mental and emotional well-being. Sabi ko nga, kaya pala ang sarap ng tulog ko kagabi kasi tawang-tawa kami sa aming mga chikahan sa group chat namin. Kaya nakakatulong po yung laughter. So if you're one of those people na sinasabi nila mga mahirap patawanin or KJ kumbaga, isipin natin na laughter will help relieve our stress. So pag nasa school tayo, kahit ang dami na nating ginagawa, ang dami pa nating ipiprint, tapos dumadagdag pa yung mga enrollment na may mga nakaprint na tayo ng mga modules, tapos may dumadagdag pa, magpiprint na naman. Huwag nating isipin na, it's a burden sa ating mga teachers. Let's think of it na, mas marami na namang bata ang matututo this year or this school year kahit na mayroon tayong pandemyang kinakaharap. So, let's not forget to laugh and be a reason for someone to laugh, di ba? Because it will really help us. Sabi nga kanina ni Miss Divine, small steps lead to bigger steps. Kaya let's take one step at a time, di ba po? Hindi naman agad-agad makukuha natin yung self-love na gusto nating makamit. But you know, when we take small steps, eventually ma-reach natin yung goal natin to achieve self-love. So sabi ko nga po, we have invited registered psychologists, and we also have a graduate of psychology for our open forum later on. We have our registered psychologist. We have invited Antonieta C. Escandar of Zamboanga City Medical Center. So if you have questions regarding mental health, how to handle stress, you can post them sa comments live sa Facebook page. How many questions will we be entertaining po? It's isip-isip na po tayo ng mga gusto nating itanong na mga questions. I'm sure that you have naiisip na mga gustong itanong. So, it's an opportunity for you kasi yung invited guest natin, I'm sure na masasagot niya yung kung ano man yung questions mo na related sa ating topics today. So we will now have po our open forum. Let's welcome Dr. Mylene S. Gumarao, Registered Guidance Counselor, Department Chair of the Graduate Psychology Department. Good morning po, Dr. Mylene S. Gumarao.
Good morning and happy Friday, everyone.
Good morning po.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I can't hear you
Mga
well.
nagwo-watch sa atin, you can post your questions na po.
Okay.
Dr. Mylene, can you hear me po?
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
My question po, is it helpful to alter our emotional distress with humorous actions instead of expressing it in its real status?
Okay. What do you mean alter?
What do we
Does
mean
it
ba?
mean-
Sabi, kung dapat
does it
daw ba
mean-
itawa or dapat iiyak?
Okay. Now, if you are pertaining that the word alter, if you are going to interpret alter as to replace the negative emotion into laughter, I would say that's wrong. Okay? Now, before you laugh, you have to consider and you have to, kasi pag itinawa mo lang siya, nang hindi mo siya nire-resolve, after your laughter, the problem is still there. Now, meron tayong sinasabi na, you can smile at the storm. Yes, that is pertaining to resiliency. It means that even we are in a negative situation, we can still smile. However, our difficulty should not remain there. While we are smiling at the storm, we should also be doing something in order for us to solve that storm. So, kung yung humor therapy or laughter therapy can be used while we are doing something for our negative emotions. But to just laugh without doing something, without implementing any therapy, and laughter is part of it, then I would say it will not help. Kasi kung halimbawa, sinabi lang natin ay tawanan mo lang yan. Okay, tawanan mo lang yan, yung mga little annoyances, like for example, somebody hurts me verbally. If I'm going to put interpretation on that, negative interpretation, I would be hurt. And so, instead of pointing out or interpreting the negative word into a negative emotion, transferring that negative word into my negative emotion, so I would be hurt. So, instead of taking it seriously, tawanan ko lang siya. So, that is okay. But when you are in a severe situation at tinawanan mo lang yung problema mo, then you are affected after you laugh, then that's not good. But if after laughter, you are no longer affected, then that would help. We can ask also Ma'am Tunette. Ma'am Tunette, as a psychologist, what can you say about that? Hello, Ma'am Tunette.
Good morning po, Ma'am Anita.
Ma'am Tunette, you are in mute. Naka-mute po si Ma'am Tunette.
Hi, good morning. Buenos dias a todos.
Good morning po.
Yes, pasensya na nawawala yung internet ko, Doc. Oo.
Okay. Did you hear the question, Tunette?
I'm sorry, Doc, hindi po. I just came in, Doc.
Okay. The question goes like this. Is it okay if the negative emotion is being altered by the laughter? Is it right? Did they get it right? Carla?
Alter
Oo, ang pangit ng signal, Doc. Wala sila.
So I think Ma'am Tonette is having technical glitches, so we'll give you back Dr. for the
I can't hear you po.
second question po is this. How can an introvert adopt being a humorous person or engage in a humorous actions, especially in his hard times?
How can be an introvert
adapt being a humorous person or engage in a humorous actions?
Okay, an introvert. If the person who is introvert is the one asking to be humorous, then it would be easy. But if those who are around her will be the one to ask for her to be a humorous, that will be hard. Now, like for example, I am an introvert. I am not affected whether I use laughter therapy. So there's no problem with me. But if those person who are around me is the one who wants me to be a humorous one, so it will be hard. Now, for as long as the person who is introvert is not affected whether she is humorous or not, there's no problem with that. Now, helping the person, granted that the person is asking on how to be humorous, then there's a lot of adjustment that she's going to do. First, she needs to be engaged in the humorous activity. And she must be willing to adapt with the therapy. She has to be exposed since introvert person has limited exposure to more people. She has the motivation should be coming from her, but she can be helped by encouraging her to be engaged first with other people, because introvert people are very choosy. Now, she can be humorous. She can also use laughter therapy even with few people for as long as she is willing. Merong mga taong mahirap patawanin. kahit nakakatawa ng joke, nakatingin lang sila, especially kung ang personality ay melancholic, tsaka yung a combination of melancholic and phlegmatic. That is a combination of two passive traits or temperament. And so they are enjoying watching rather than participating, but they are enjoy by merely watching. So the problem is if they are not happy because they are introvert. For as long as they are happy being an introvert, they can go on. Like if I am an introvert, I am not affected. Kung nagtatawanan kayo dyan, masaya ako na nanonood sa inyo, nagtatawanan kayo. Pero yung makitawa, parang nahihiya ako or what. Now, if there is something behind the silence, yon, kailangan i-address yon. Kung bakit hindi siya tumatawa, maaring there was a time na tumawa siya, napahiya siya. So, we should know the reason why the person is not engaged. Kasi baka yung kanyang nature, hindi, ganun lang talaga siya. Ganun talaga ako eh. Hindi naman ako apektado. Pero gusto ko sana na maki-join sa inyo. Kaya lang, parang ayoko. Now, we have to identify the reason. Before we give the solution, we have to identify the problem because we cannot give a solution to a particular problem which is unknown.
Ayan, thank you po, Doc. And meron po tayo ditong third question naman po. How can we forget something so stressful? Or makakalimutan po ba talaga natin yung something na pinag-i-stressan natin?
Okay. Anong topic po yan? Sa laughter pa rin yan?
Parang hindi na po.
Okay, kasi late ako pumasok. I had recording kasi eh. Sino ang ano niyan? Kaninong topic yan? Hello? Divine? Is that for Divine?
Divine.
Divine, before I give my answer. Ang tanong mo, paano malilimutan?
So stressful.
Paano malilimutan ang isang
ba na makalimutan natin? Go ahead po.
Okay. Paano malilimutan ang isang stressful event? Is that a question? Hello, Miss Carla?
Yes po, parang ganun po. Paano makalimutan yung stressful na nangyari or nangyayari?
Pwede nating, ano ba yun? Forgive and forget. Pwede tayong magpatawad, pero yung makalimot ay by choice. Okay. Sabi ng mga nakaranas ng masakit na buhay, palagi daw nilang naririnig, forgive and forget. Hindi daw, pwede silang magpatawad, pero hindi pwedeng malimutan. Ang sabi naman ng iba, kung hindi mo malimutan, it means hindi ka pa nagpatawad. Pero psychologically, anything that happened in the past cannot be forgotten. But the impact of the negative event can be forgotten. Like for example, death. I don't know if I have mentioned this before during the DepEd My mother died when I was in US. Masakit yun kasi umalis kang walang sakit yung nanay. Tapos pagbalik mo, patay. Hindi ka pa nakabalik, namatay na, so bumalik ka nang wala sa panahon. Yung death, hindi pwedeng kalimutan kasi totoong namatay. But the impact of the pain is already forgotten because it is already 15 years. It happened in 2006. Last April 29, my father-in-law was tested positive for COVID. And he was at ICU for 29 days. Ang pait, ang sakit ng stress ay dinala namin from April 29 up to namatay siya ay dinala siya ng April 30 sa hospital, namatay siya ng May 29. So, sakto 29 days. From April 30 up to May 29, walang tulog halos. Ang sakit, ang stress, naghihintay ka everyday, bukas buhay pa kaya. Kasi seeing him intubated, hindi madaling tingnan. Pero ang sakit. Okay? Kasi nag-positive siya ng COVID. Now, it's almost May, June, July, August, September. Okay? 4 months. Ganun pa rin ba yung sakit? Hindi na. Pero, yung event, andun pa. Hindi malilimutan yan. Kung yung mga videos, we talk to him, we see him through messenger and video calls. Pero recorded. Dahil ako manugang, nasa akin ang record. During the time that he was in pain at naghihirap, hindi kayang tingnan ng mga anak. Pinapakita ko, ito si tatay. No. Lahat withdraw. So kaming mga manugang, kami ang tumitingin. Pero from time to time, gusto nilang tingnan. Pag tinitingnan nila, sila'y lumuluha. Kasi masakit, nakaka-stress. Hindi ko kayang i-explain sa inyo kung anong stress yun. Napaka-stressful. Meron kang father-in-law na nasa ICU. Tapos, kinuha ang mother-in-law kasi may hypertension. So, dalawa ang concern ko at saka ng asawa ko. Yung tatay na nasa ICU plus yung nanay na may hypertension. Gusto mong makita sa video, hindi mo makita kasi kasambahay mo ang may hypertension. So, naiipit ka sa gitna. Okay? And then may instruction ka na kinukuha galing sa doktor at galing sa sister-in-law who is in outside the country. So, ang hirap. Plus, nanay ka, asawa ka, tapos nagtuturo ka. Pinagpatong-patong na stress. Ang tanong, paano malilimutan ang negative event? Ang negative event po hindi pwedeng kalimutan, but the impact can be forgotten. Another illustration. Do you know the story of the girl in the basement? Yung si Elizabeth Fritzl. Elizabeth Fritzl is the 7th child of Joseph and Rosemary Fritzl. She was abducted and kidnapped by her own dad. Dinala siya sa basement ng bahay nila kasi taga-Austria ito, malaki ang bahay, mayaman. For 24 years, she was just in the basement and she gave birth to 7 children. Nagkaanak si Elizabeth ng 7 na ang tatay ng kanyang anak ay ang kanyang ama. Okay? And then, hindi siya makalabas. Pero ang ginawa ni Joseph, kasi kulang na sa nutrition yung mga anak, yung 3, inilabas niya doon sa basement at dinala sa malapit sa bahay nila at ang sinabi sa asawa, ang mga batang ito ay iniwan ng ating anak na si Elizabeth kasi siya ay irresponsable at hindi niya kayang buhayin. Naniwala naman si Rosemary na asawa ni Joseph. Pinalaki nila yung bata ng normal. Pero yung 3 na iwan sa basement ay abnormal ang kanilang pagkakapagpalaki kasi walang socialization, walang sunlight. Pero ang last child who happened to be a twins, isa sa kambal ay namatay because of poor nutrition. So out of 7, may natirang 3, ang 3 lumaki kay Elizabeth. Until noong 1984 yata. 1984, yes. 1984? No, 1984 siya na rape. After 24 years, 2004, lumabas ang katotohanan. Kasi ang panganay na anak ni Elizabeth sa basement nagkasakit at kailangang dalhin sa ospital. So nakalabas din si Elizabeth. And so, she told everything to the police. Okay, now anong nangyari sa buhay ni Elizabeth? To cut the long story short, she underwent therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? Imagine mo, for 24 years, she experienced 3,000 times of assaults and rape, resulting to 7 pregnancies. Okay, tanong, naka-move on kaya si Elizabeth? Okay, ano sa tingin nyo? Kung kayo ang ikulong 24 years doon sa basement, nagkaroon ka ng 7 anak na ang tatay ng anak mo ay ang tatay mo, makaka-move on ka? Baka yung iba mag-suicide na. Okay, this is a harassment, sexual abuse, Lahat na andito. May tortured pang kasama yan. And then Elizabeth was given pornographic materials para ma-ignite yung sexual drive para pagdating ng father, ready siya. Okay? Ganun ka-tortured ang inabot ni Elizabeth. Elizabeth is living a normal life today. Why? Because she underwent therapy for post-traumatic disorder. Tanong, bakit siya naka-move on aside from the therapy? She found, kasi binigyan sila ng bahay, they were out of the village at dinila sila sa isang village, na another village, and they were given by the government and psychiatric center a 2-story building equipped with CCTV cameras, with free security guards, free transportation. Lahat na ibinigay, pati pagkain. Sinuportahan sila ng government. And so, ang nangyari, yung isa sa mga security guard ay na-inlove kay Elizabeth. At si Elizabeth na-inlove din sa security guard at sila ay naging mag-asawa. But the security guard is 23 younger than Elizabeth. But the love of the security guard make Elizabeth heal. Gumaling si Elizabeth ng post-traumatic. Lahat ng anak ni Elizabeth ay nag-a-undergo ng ng therapy for PTSD. Now, based on the report, you can follow, it's in Google. Elizabeth Fritzl, ang spelling ng Fritzl niya, F-R-I-T-Z-L. Si Elizabeth Fritzl is living with Thomas Warner, na siya po ang naging asawa niya. She is living a life normally, and she enjoys shopping and driving around the city. And ang result lang kay Elizabeth, she ended up with obsession in cleanliness that resulted into taking shower 10 times a day. Yun ang naging effect sa kanya. Kasi she felt dirty. Tracing back the history of father. Noong na-research ang history ni Joseph, yung tatay ni Elizabeth, Joseph grew up without a dad. And his mom raised him with his fist, suntok, sipa, kahit saan tamaan. And he was verbally and emotionally abused. Sinasabi lagi ng mother, you are of no good, you are Satan, you are an alibi child. An alibi child means you were conceived not because of the fruit of love, but because I wanted to prove to your dad that I am capable of giving birth and I am not a barren. So, si Joseph ay biktima ng isang karahasan, hindi na-resolve ang issue niya in the past, nag-retaliate siya, nag-revenge sa kanyang sariling anak. Kung si Elizabeth ay hindi nagkaroon ng therapy, malamang ganun din ang mangyayari sa kanya. It will become a cycle. Now, to cut the story short, malilimutan ba ang stressful event? The event itself is not, but the impact can be forgotten.
Mylene, and we appreciate your time for this webinar, for gracing our webinar for today. Thank you so much po. Ladies and friends, once again, Dr. Mylene S. Gumarao. Thank you so much po. And now let's welcome back Antonieta C. Escandor, a registered psychologist. Ma'am Tonet, are you there na po?
Hi, yeah. Hi. Good morning again. Sorry for the mga glitches ng ating internet. Yes po, Ma'am Carla.
Yes po. Okay po. So we have here po questions. What do you think is the best way to cope up with stress?
Okay, sige. Stress is becoming very common nowadays, no? And whether we like it or not, we always confronted with stress, okay? So we do have a lot of stress techniques, no? And how we manage stress. I would suggest, no, like the DepEd, that you would come up with a program on stress management management. But to me, no, as a psychologist, the most effective stress technique that I used to suggest to my clients is the 1-minute mind clearing technique or the deep breathing technique. No, the deep breathing is actually very accessible. It's cost effective, and research would tell us that it is very effective in managing stress. I'm sure, no, next session, one of our companions, si Ma'am Apple, will be discussing to us about no details or how to do the deep breathing exercises that would in any way no help us relieve with our stress. Okay, another one, maybe I can just introduce, it's the 1-minute mind clearing technique. So when you feel stress, like you feel like overwhelming, you can just, sit in one corner and try to just look up to a clock or yung watch, and then you just have to stop and just observe, no, yung pagtakbo ng hands ng ating watch. And then that way, you will be able to, like, in a minute, be able to relax. You can do that as frequent as you can. So I hope, no, I will not really give the details of this technique because i-reserve natin because next Friday, we will have also a very good discussion on how to cope through practice of deep breathing. I'm not very sure how si Ma'am Apple, but there will be a lot of techniques, no, on how we will be able to manage our stresses. Okay? Oh, Ma'am Carla kanina, no, hindi nawala ako. But I would like si Dr. G was able to give her opinion, no, yung about extroversion, on how the extrovert people will be able to make use of the laugh therapy. When we say actually extrovert people, they're neither actually hostile or they lack compassion, no? More formal, more reserved, and many are quite distant. No, but it does not actually prevent them from enjoying laughter therapy. Yun. So we cannot really capitalize na kakaiba talaga itong mga extrovert. No, they're not. I mean, introvert, yes.
All right po. Thank you po, ma'am. So, another question po. What can you say to our teachers who are experiencing stress because of the new setup in education?
Okay, so again, no, being stressed, actually hindi lang po teachers, no, kami sa government, especially the frontliners, no, in particular teachers, we are all confronted with, a lot of changes, no, sa ating work setup, no. But this is it, no, it's very important that we really have to, it's really a choice that we have to embrace, no? Yung mga changes na ini-implement ngayon. We are in a time na parang mukhang wala tayong choice except really to, change our mindset, no? This is what is going on. This is our reality, and we just have to be more flexible, no? More adaptable. Now, it is also very good and it is also very important that we have to assess ourselves if we are now becoming really stressed. Particularly kung naapektuhan na yung ating functionality. When I say functionality, no, naboboard na tayo, no, nawawalan na tayo ng gana, no, we are not able to comply with our requirements. So that's also very helpful that we have to assess and determine kung anong level na ng stress natin. Then, it's also very important that we have to look for someone. It could be a colleague, a principal, or a guidance counselor, or a psychologist, where we can also, meet and open up, ventilate kung ano yung ating mga na-experience. Yun po, Ma'am Carla.
So, Ayan, thank you po. So mga teachers, alam na natin, we have we have to adapt to the changes that are happening in our society dahil wala naman na tayong magagawa. Nandito na. What we need to do is maging flexible. Yun nga yung sabi ni Ma'am Tonet, maging flexible tayo at mag-adapt na lang tayo sa changes na nangyayari sa atin. Once again po, Ma'am Tonet, thank you so much for your time, for being with us today. And na-appreciate po namin yung effort na binigay niyo po sa amin. Thank you so much po. Once again, Ma'am Antonieta C. Escandar. I'm sure that we have gained a lot of insight from our two speakers and from our invited guests, Ma'am Tonet and Doc Mylene. I read a pinned post on Pinterest that says, self-care is how you take your power back. From what we have heard from our speakers and from our guests, it is okay to take a step back once in a while, to be with ourselves and to be with our thoughts. Taking a step back is not quitting at all. It's just simply preparing ourselves for a better and stronger comeback. Thank you all for watching this episode. See you again on September 24 for the second episode of our webinar on fostering self-care for teachers. This has been Teacher Carla of Hamorao National High School, Milagros East District. Happy Teachers Month and keep safe always.